When you have something to say, silence is a lie. A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control. And if you think tough man is dangerous, wait until you see what weak men are capable of. I don't think that you have any insight whatsoever into your capacity for good until you have some well-developed insight into your capacity for evil. You're going to pay a price for every bloody thing you do and everything you don't do. You don't get to choose to not pay a price. You get to choose which poison you're going to take. That's it. Women deeply want men who are competent and powerful. And I don't mean power in that they can exert tyrannical control over others. That's not power. That's just corruption. Adopt responsibility for your own well-being, try to put your family together, try to serve your community, try to seek for eternal truth. That's the sort of thing that can ground you in your life, enough so that you can withstand the difficulty of life. I don't tell people, you are okay the way that you are. That's not the right story. The right story is, you are way less than you could be. You can only find out what you actually believe, rather than what you think you believe, by watching how you act. You simply don't know what you believe, before that. You are too complex to understand yourself. The successful among us delay gratification. The successful among us bargain with the future. Nietzsche said that a man's worth was determined by how much truth he could tolerate. Everything you value is a product of unimaginably lengthy developmental processes, personal, cultural, biological. Don't underestimate the power of vision and direction. These are irresistible forces, able to transform what might appear to be unconquerable obstacles into traversable pathways and expanding opportunities. To stand up straight with your shoulders back is to accept the terrible responsibility of life, with eyes wide open. It means deciding to voluntarily transform the chaos of potential into the realities of habitable order. It means adopting the burden of self-conscious vulnerability, and accepting the end of the unconscious paradise of childhood, where finitude and mortality are only dimly comprehended. It means willingly undertaking the sacrifices necessary to generate a productive and meaningful reality. It means acting to please God, in the ancient language. There's some real utility in gratitude. Always place your becoming above your current being. It took untold generations to get you where you are. A little gratitude might be in order. Strengthen the individual. Start with yourself. Take care with yourself. Define who you are. Refine your personality. Choose your destination and articulate your being. As the great 19th-century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche so brilliantly noted, he whose life has a why can bear almost anyhow. You must determine where you are going in your life, because you cannot get there unless you move in that direction. Random wandering will not move you forward. It will instead disappoint and frustrate you and make you anxious and unhappy and hard to get along with, and then resentful, and then vengeful, and then worse. You don't get to choose not to pay a price, you only get to choose which price you pay. What you aim at determines what you see. The secret to your existence is right in front of you. It manifests itself as all those things you know you should do, but are avoiding. The things that pose the greatest threats to your survival are the most real things. It's a luxury to pursue what makes you happy. It's a moral obligation to pursue what you find meaningful. Worthlessness is the default condition. Sometimes, when people have a low opinion of their own worth, or, perhaps, when they refuse responsibility for their lives, they choose a new acquaintance, of precisely the type who proved troublesome in the past. Such people don't believe that they deserve any better, so they don't go looking for it. Or, perhaps, they don't want the trouble of better. Freud called this a repetition compulsion. He thought of it as an unconscious drive to repeat the horrors of the past, sometimes, perhaps, to formulate those horrors more precisely, sometimes to attempt more active mastery, and sometimes, perhaps, because no alternatives beckon. People create their worlds with the tools they have directly at hand. Faulty tools produce faulty results. Repeated use of the same faulty tools produces the same faulty results. It is in this manner that those who fail to learn from the past doom themselves to repeat it. It's partly fate. It's partly inability. It's partly unwillingness to learn, refusal to learn, motivated refusal to learn. If you betray yourself, if you say untrue things, if you act out a lie, you weaken your character. It takes careful observation, and education, and reflection, and communication with others, just to scratch the surface of your beliefs. And if you think tough men are dangerous, wait until you see what weak men are capable of. We deserve some respect. You deserve some respect. You are important to other people, as much as to yourself. You have some vital role to play in the unfolding destiny of the world. You are, therefore, morally obliged to take care of yourself. You should take care of, help and be good to yourself the same way you would take care of, help and be good to someone you loved and valued. You may therefore have to conduct yourself habitually in a manner that allows you some respect for your own being, and fair enough. But every person is deeply flawed. Everyone falls short of the glory of God. If that stark fact meant, however, that we had no responsibility to care for ourselves as much as others, everyone would be brutally punished all the time. That would not be good. That would make the shortcomings of the world, which can make everyone who thinks honestly question the very propriety of the world, worse in every way. That simply cannot be the proper path forward. Order is not enough. You can't just be stable, and secure, and unchanging, because there are still vital and important new things to be learned. Nonetheless, chaos can be too much. You can long tolerate being swamped and overwhelmed beyond your capacity to cope while you are learning what you still need to know. Thus, you need to place one foot in what you have mastered and understood and the other in what you are currently exploring and mastering. Then you have positioned yourself where the terror of existence is under control and you are secure, but where you are also alert and engaged. That is where there is something new to master and some way that you can be improved. That is where meaning is to be found. The better ambitions have to do with the development of character and ability, rather than status and power. Status you can lose. You carry character with you wherever you go, and it allows you to prevail against adversity. The successful among us delay gratification. The successful among us bargain with the future. In the West, we have been withdrawing from our tradition, religion and even nation-centered cultures, partly to decrease the danger of group conflict. But we are increasingly falling prey to the desperation of meaninglessness, and that is no improvement at all. If you're going to insist on bending the world to your way, you better have your reasons. If you're going to stand your ground, you better have your reasons. You better have thought them through. You might otherwise be in for a very hard landing. Ideologies are substitutes for true knowledge, and ideologues are always dangerous when they come to power, because a simple-minded I-know-it-all approach is no match for the complexity of existence. If you fulfill your obligations every day, you don't need to worry about the future. If you don't say what you think, then you kill your unborn self. If you are not willing to be a fool, you can't become a master. In order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. To suffer terribly and to know yourself as the cause, that is hell. So, attend carefully to your posture. Quit drooping and hunching around. Speak your mind. Put your desires forward, as if you had a right to them, at least the same right as others. Walk tall and gaze forthrightly ahead. Dare to be dangerous. Encourage the serotonin to flow plentifully through neural pathways desperate for its calming influence. Every bit of learning is a little death. Every bit of new information challenges a previous conception, forcing it to dissolve into chaos before it can be reborn as something better. Sometimes such deaths virtually destroy us. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Perhaps you are overvaluing what you don't have and undervaluing what you do. So, listen to yourself and to those with whom you are speaking. Your wisdom then consists not of the knowledge you already have, but the continual search for knowledge.